drowsy because it is the time of lunch and drowsiness following the lunch. Anyway, the dignitaries on this side, our chief guest of this event, Dr. Vijay Chaudhary, who is younger brother to me, esteemed guest of honor, our loved Vice Chancellor, Professor D.K. Singh, Dr. Prabhat, Civil Surgeon of Sadar Hospital, who is trying to ease the overburdened rims, Dr. Suresh Topo, Dr. Prabal Singh, Dr. Jitendra Kumar, Dr. Neeraj Kumar, Dr. Rajiv Kumar Ranjan, and dignitaries on this side, invited faculty members from Delhi, Pune, Jaipur, and rest of the cities like Jamshedpur from Jharkhand itself, delegates and people if there are from press and media. Well, as stated by our Honorable Vice Chancellor, that 19th century, I often quote this, 19th century in medical science was the century of clinical sciences broadly. If you go through the publications of 19th century, most of the papers emphasize on the clinical exploration of different rare diseases, uncommon diseases, and syndromes, and different kinds of the yielding of new entities. However, the last decade of 20th century was basically the century of genomics and nanotechnology. That was boon, in fact, to the medical science. And the 21st century, as you have said, sir, it is the century of medical engineering. Yes. So without technology, medical science cannot survive anyway. Because the dramatic changes I have seen in radiology, if you talk about radiology in isolation, when I completed my MBBS, my merit was little low. Because that was the time when the PG was offered depending on the merit of MBBS. And merit was made by our teachers. It was not based on the education itself. It was not based on the performance, I can bet to you. The era was like that. It was solely, mainly dependent on the wisdom, vision, intelligence, thought manipulation, and there are several manipulations which were practiced during those days to make a merit of an MBBS student. Obviously, these were not the sole factors. Performance was the biggest factor. And I remembered when I was given to understand that I am going to get my MD in radiotherapy and maybe radiology also. First time in life I had to take antidepressant for 2 or 3 days. I thought, what is this? I worked very hard and I am getting only radiotherapy and radiology. And I was put as a house officer in radiotherapy. I was further depressed. Seeing those gloomy faces, dying patients, morbid patients, bedridden patients, crippled patients, post-operative complication. So seeing all those things, I thought that medical science is only science where the physician, surgeon, orthopods, ENT surgeons, gynecologists, these are the only medical sciences, rest are just garbage. But today, I can say with firm conviction, with all available resources and data, with emphasis, that radiology has become a super specialty and probably super sub-specialty during these 4-5 decades. Radiology is no more radiology now. You are a rare breed. I wish to convey to my students that you are a rare breed. I was Vice Chancellor to one of the university, Medical University of Uttar Pradesh, Believe or not, I could not fill a post of radiologist in a rural university because I could not get an appropriate radiologist. And one lady walked to my chamber someday. Sir, I can join your university provided you treat me as a super specialist. I asked her, how many publications do you have? Because that is the only criteria which probably fetch up to some extent the performance of a medical postgraduate and probably the faculty who is eyeing to become faculty. She said, I have only 2 publications. She knew that Vice Chancellor in scarce need of, dire need of radiology in such a big university, and he had to absorb me. She started bargaining. Sir, I will need 1 lakh extra. I kept on hearing her. And I made up my mind that if she joins, I will select her. But subsequently, she bargained when too much. I said, you get lost from here. Let the post be lying vacant. And that post lied vacant for 3 years. So radiologists are too much in demand. Why it is so? Because the radiology is not only radiology today. Radiology is normal anatomy, radiology is morbid anatomy, radiology is 3-dimensional anatomy. Think about. Radiology is morbid anatomy. If you want to teach a surgery resident, or orthopedic resident, or neurosurgery resident, or neurology resident about the morbid anatomy, the cadver cannot teach you the morbid anatomy. But radiologists can. And in order to have 3-dimensional view, even you are today facilitated to offer a 3-dimensional view. When I was resident and I was doing aneurysm surgery in All India Institute of Medical Sciences, my teachers tend to tell me that while operating on those days this aneurysm surgery was most complicated. Now of course the skull base and entering into cavernous sinus, brain stem, these are the surgeries which are challenging surgeries. And fortunately I have good number of publications even in brain stem surgery. When I was resident, nobody could think about to operate on brain stem because the life rests in the brain stem. Breathing center is there, respiratory center is there, consciousness lies there, deglutition and other responsible cranial lobes lie there. That means the life rests in 6 centimeters of the structure with maximum dimension of 3 centimeters, and that is called as brain stem. When I was under training, I could not dream that my teacher will explore the brain stem. But today, with addition of MR imaging, with the sophisticated imaging, with the 3-dimensional imaging, with the MR angiography, with the structural understanding, with the mapping of nuclei, with FA charting, with tractography, with functional MRI, with functional imaging, I know as to which vital structure and which nuclei, which cranial nerves lies where in relation to the tumor in brainstem. And that is how I could operate more than 50 not pontine, but midbrain and medullary tumors. These are published in international journals. Of course, the results were not that gratifying, but people survived. They lived normal life. My teachers could not imagine when I was a student that the brainstem surgery can be done. So much so that once upon a time I was a teacher of International Society of Pediatric Neurosurgery, had been to teach in one of the underdeveloped country of Europe, and one of the American neurosurgeon, very senior neurosurgeon, presented a case of brainstem tumor. I was little young. I stood, yes, you send, I will operate. Everybody laughed upon me, as if I am doing joke from India. Subsequently, at that time I remained silent. And he cracked a joke. Oh, right then, now onward we will have to send these patients to India. And after few minutes, after some time, when I showed the brainstem tumor and their diagrams and live patients, everybody clapped in entire crowd, seeing the precision of the work. I told him India is not only India, not that underdeveloped poor country, not a overpopulous country, not a illiterate country, is not the country who thrives on $1. The intelligentsia is too much rampant in India, and India is not only India. India represents entire world because if we are top in poverty, we are top in intelligentsia also. If we can thrive in half of a dollar, we have capacity to produce the world-class engineers, world-class doctors, world-class technocrats, and world-class of everything. Well, if I keep on speaking, I think it will take too much time. I will not talk too much of radiology today. I was in mood actually to talk about radiology and their advances amongst the radiologists. I think that would be a full exercise. You tolerated me for these many minutes. Thank you very much.